Australia's hot suburbs. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from news.com.au, which I think discusses a very important aspect about modern suburban life. You know, backyards, they're all gone. And with backyards being gone or houses built on these small bloody blocks so close together, you don't have trees. You know, I was out near, past Ipswich, one of these new suburbs, and no trees anywhere. You just, up on a hill, you look down, you just see tiled roofs everywhere, and that has a huge heat island effect. Just tremendous. People don't care, though. They all live in their little air-conditioned boxes, and kids never go out to play then because it's too bloody hot. So, lack of trees exacerbates the extreme heat effects in Australian suburbs. 2/3 of Australian urban areas are losing a vital resource that could make our cities not just unbearable, but almost unlivable in years to come. And I'd also say air conditioning in homes, it reduces your ability to get to know neighbours. Our neighbours have got air conditioning. We don't have it. And, you know, they're never outside. The kids aren't playing outside. Maybe it's just because they're getting older. But still. So, huge swathes of our suburbs are in danger of becoming virtually unlivable, with residents jumping from aircon to aircon via a car with aircon to avoid the searing heat. I mean, I love my air conditioning in the car. It's tempted to just have a nap in the car sometimes. That's one of the conclusions of a new report that has found that in just 7 years, the number of trees in 69% of urban areas has dramatically dropped. Without enough tree shade, city streets, temperatures can be as much as 10 degrees hotter. And one of the biggest culprits of cranking up the heat in our suburbs is homeowners clearing trees to build, among other things, swimming pools to cool down on hot days. Associate Professor Joe Hurley from MIT's Center for Urban Research said city greenery not only helped put the lid on heat, it was also key in managing stormwater and providing physical and mental health benefits. Green cover should be managed as critical infrastructure alongside communication, transport, water, and electricity network, he told news.com.au. But all too often, trees are traded away for other demands, like urban development. It can end up being about having tree or something else that we should manage our cities better. Professor Hurley is the lead author of Where Will All the Trees Be?, a new RMIT report released today that looks at tree coverage across hundreds of Australian local government areas. It found Cairns had the most green cover at 83%, while Wiedelham in Melbourne's southwest, which includes Werribee, had the least at just 5.4%. Yarra Ranges in Victoria, Sydney's Hornsby and Sutherland Shire and Kingsbrook Council in Tasmania were also at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, there you go. There's Cairns. I mean, it's lovely living in an area like that, just driving through it here. I mean, I've got some really big trees on my block. We had to take down a lot of trees. We had a huge, beautiful tree right there near the sign. It was providing all this shade. Looked fantastic. But we had to take it down. It was dead. It was at risk of falling over. At the other end, jostling for space as the least green LGAs were Windham, Melton, Maribyrnong, Hobsons Bay and Hume, all in or close to Melbourne. Port Adelaide, Ironfield in South Australia, the least green areas of Sydney, Bayside and the LGA around Botany Bay, as well as Cumberland, Camden and Fairfield in the city's west. The report has a feature that allows residents to type in their postcode and see how tree cover is faring in that area. The authors acknowledge Cairns, with large tracts of rainforest within its borders, and Windham, with grassland and industrial areas, are not easily comparable. As such, it divides urban areas into 6 types, depending on population density and climate. Even by this comparison, Windham has far less tree coverage than, say, Bendigo, which has similar rainfall and density. Overall, Launceston, the Sunshine Coast, and Sutherland Shire have seen the biggest growth in trees, approaching 10% more in 4 years. Conversely, Palmerston in the Northern Territory, Ryde and Burwood in Sydney, and Kalamunda in Perth have seen the biggest reduction. The bad news is between 2013 and 2020, the majority of LGAs have lost green cover. The more encouraging news is that from 2016, the majority are now gaining cover. That's a good sign that a long-term trend is being turned around, but they still haven't made up the loss. A slew of councils have been judged as being very high risk of losing more of their canopy, including Blacktown and Burwood in Sydney, Darwin, Bayswater and Fremantle in Perth, Melbourne's Brimbank Council and Ipswich in Brisbane. In the big cities, the greenest areas are often the closest to the CBD, with many of those also now the most expensive to live. Here we go. I mean, look at this image here. Look at that. Just imagine the thermal heat load. So new developments and swimming pools. More intense developments in inner suburban areas were responsible for tree loss. On brownfield sites and on the urban fringe, new suburbs were often being built with houses crammed in and little thought given to greenery. Councils are getting better at mandating green cover, but about half of all urban vegetation was on private land, and this was hard to control. Well, see, I think I can actually plant. I've got the setback from my site boundary to the street. I'd love to be able to plant more trees there. I think I can. I should contact council. I'll do it after we get the house lifting done, because there's no point planting anything now when you're going to have trucks driving everywhere and destroying it. Trees are vulnerable through development. A drying climate may claim a tree, which is then taken out, or a healthy one replaced by a homeowner for a trampoline or swimming pool. They're not bad reasons, but culminate is to diminish the number of trees. Extreme urban heat. Other studies have shown that trees can have a dramatic effect on the ambient temperature of cities. Urban areas are often hotter than surrounding country areas anyway due to grey cover. The preponderance of hard surfaces like asphalt, metal roofs that help crack up the mercury. Lack of canopy can make this even worse. A vivid example from Melbourne illustrates this. Thermal imaging of Royal Parade shows the surface temperature of the road fully exposed to the sun is surpassing 65 degrees. Yet just meters away, a treed shaded area is around 30 degrees cooler. The air temperature of urban areas with more trees can be around 4 degrees Celsius cooler than without. On a more local level, the air temperature in a treeless car park can be 10 degrees higher than a nearby shaded street. We can see here. In 2017, a stark warning was given that rising heat and humidity in Darwin could make the city unlivable. Since then, City Council has begun greening the CBD to bring the mercury down. Heat waves kill more Australians than any other natural event, with people over 65 at far higher risk of death as days hot up. While extreme heat already contributes to 1,000 deaths a year in that age group, violence and substance abuse also goes up. Inland suburbs of major Australian cities are already far hotter in summer than their seaside equivalents. A report by the Western Sydney Regional Organisation for Councils found that on the hottest days in 2017, Penrith in the city's west reached 47 degrees. The CBD's hottest day that year was a cool 39.4 by comparison. In 2017, there were 0 days above 40 degrees in the CBD, but 8 in the western suburbs. Urban forests could make all the difference between making these scorching suburbs livable and unlivable, Professor Hurley said. A key element of livability is a healthy lifestyle. If you're not able to walk to local schools or parks because it's hot, that has significant effects on your health. If there is little cooling vegetation, there is disincentive to walk. You go from aircon to aircon via a car, and that's not good for your health and the environment. A standout council with Parramatta in Sydney's east stated the report. Its grey cover has risen because of new development, but so has its green cover, with 500,000 trees planted in the last 5 years. We can say stop development and just plant trees. So what's exciting about Parramatta? We can't say stop development and start planting trees. So what's exciting about Parramatta is how it is increasing urban tree canopy to create better neighbourhoods while becoming a major urban centre, he said. The answer is to prioritise green infrastructure alongside developments such as city growth. We can make them greener. It's not an either-or option. Well, one thing I would suggest it would be to give developers benefits and incentivize them to create space for large trees. Maybe allow them to have additional height. Maybe reduce headworks fees if they plant a certain number of mature trees in their development. You know? Maybe give people a deduction on stamp duty if they plant a certain number of trees. Why not? It does have a huge impact, guys. It really does. You'd be shocked if you haven't experienced it. The microclimate around these trees can, make a big impact. This here, I'm thinking, do I have a book? Okay. This book here, that Great Streets, that I want to show you. And in it, it goes through all these different streets that around the world and city maps and cuts sections through them and analyzes them, and it looks at the foliage cover of the streets, and we can see that evident here in this book, in this image. Notice how you've got the trees either side of the street. Much better than just having the stupid runner trees up the middle. It's crazy. But if you're interested in a good book, I recommend you have a look at this one, everyone. So there we have it. Some research showing that, well, unsurprisingly, the reduction in trees is going to reduce the quality of life in our little hot air-conditioned boxes. What do you think, everyone? Do you have trees in your yard? Can you get them growing? Or are you like me, you've got too many of the damn things? As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next time.